Access of politicians, public officials to be made public, and that is coming from NFIU, and it's on page 5. And on page 4, Onogen, lawyers differ over NJC's report to Buhari. Kidnapping, Arewa Consultative Forum asks federal government to re-examine strategy, and that is on page 4. And the lead story here says alleged husband killing. You have case to answer. Court tells Mariam Sanda. Discharges her mother, brother, and housemaid. The story starts from the front page and continues on page 5. And we have the picture of one of the rooms gutted by fire at the NYSC Permanent Orientation Camp in Wamako local government area of Sokoto State on Wednesday.
Oh, this is sympathetic. But the interesting thing about this picture is some of the buckets in the room are not burnt. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's obvious that the bucket probably were not close to the mattress and other materials that will have made the fire to burn all of them. So that could be the reason. All right, and the bottom strip stories. Buhari travels to Jordan for economic forum. That is on page 4. And on page 8, AIB concludes investigations on Suntai's plane crash, 5 others. And finally, on page 17, Nigeria attracted $6 billion FDI in 3 months. And that is coming from the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Okay, the next paper is the Daily Sun. And beside the masthead, oil exploration in North won't stop. That's coming from NNPC GMD. And that story can be found on page 37. I will come down to the lead story. Nigeria's debt rises to 24.4 trillion naira, says DMO, as EFCC recovers 392.141 billion naira, $292 million in 15 months. And the picture here, the picture of the NYSC camp fire incident also appeared in the Daily Trust newspaper, also appears here in the Daily Sun. And we come down to the bottom strip stories. Drug trafficking. FG summons Saudi envoy over execution of Nigerian woman. That story can be found on page 9. And on page 4, confusion as court nullifies Etisalat sale. Voids steps taken from April 25th, 2018 in respect of ownership transfer. No truth in report. 9 mobile manager. That story can be found on page 4. And on page 5, Lagos football fan, Killer Cop dismissed, faces prosecution. And finally on that same page, Oshun Guba, court orders Saraki, Melaye, Bruce to honor police invitation over protest.
All right, thank you. And from the Vanguard newspaper, federal government, international oil companies, indigenous firms create $102 billion opportunities for investors in oil and gas. The detail is on page 9 and on page 41. Court void Etisalat sale. On page 8, Chief of Defense militarization of elections. And next is on page 13, and it's coming from President Buhari, is Nigeria loses 400 billion naira on medical tourism annually. Page 20, Broadcast Committee on Wales 200 billion fund for 5 cash crops. And the story says Nigeria's total debt now 24.4 trillion, and is coming from the debt management office, and its federal government owing 19.24 trillion by end of 2018. Domestic debt 68.18% of total. New borrowings since 2015 as in excess of 7 trillion. Of course, we have the 7 trillion. We have the picture there showing some descriptions of all this transfer. Total national debt 2018 24.30 trillion naira. In 2014, 12.1 trillion. 2015, 12.6 trillion. In 2016, 17.6 trillion. And in 2017, 22.7 trillion naira. Around from bottom story, special election report, 19 parties cure curse. That is on page 42. And on page 30, Abuja appeals judge says remains senator elect. And on page 12, Dixon makes campaign against environmental degradation to national oil companies. And finally, the Vanguard newspaper, NUC also proposed 823 billion university education reform. Data is page 9. That's all for Vanguard paper.
With me is the Daily Independent, our patent from above the market. CBN banks a 200 million, 200 billion naira for agriculture exports. That story can be found on page 21. And on page 5, violence claims 3,683 Nigerians in 14 months. That is coming from Global Rights. And we come to the lead story, 9th Senate presidency. More intrigues as Goje Ndume snubs APC, insists on contesting. Party will play into our hands, says Minority Leader Olujimi. Lawan, most experience for Senate President. That's coming from Bamidele, and that story can be found on page 4. And we come beside the picture. Lagos killer policeman dismissed, handed over for prosecution. That story can be found on page 5. And on that same page, Governor Dixon takes environmental campaign to IOC's orders. And on page 31, COEASU threatens strike over federal government's failure to honor pact. And we have this picture of group of poor and vulnerable people during a technical session and study tour with media chiefs and stakeholders organized by NASCO in Vom, Plateau State on Thursday. And finally, the bottom strip story, NAS asks Shell to pay 6.9 billion naira to oil-producing communities. Senate angry over 104 projects abandoned by Communications Ministry. That is it for this paper.
All right, thank you. And we'll go to the New Telegraph. Starting from the top, petrol ex-depot. Petrol ex-depot price hit 139 per liter, 139 naira per liter. Fuel supply hitched worst. Marketers grumble over 145 naira. NNPC, 55 depots nationwide stocked with petroleum product. And let's come down to the below the masthead. Federal University of Technology Owerri, sex rom. Another student dies. The data is on page 8. And on page 4, we have a report how Ethiopian Airlines nosedived several times before crashed. And the lead story is coming from the Economic Financial Crime Commission, how bank wrote off 8 billion naira loan for Saraki, says Access Bank directors are beneficiaries. The detail is on page 2. Ex-bank managing director Akimbola on trial over 176 billion naira fraud. And the big picture is the picture of Nigerian entertainers, and it's captioned, "Entertainers resort to politics, fashion, school, real estate, restaurant to stay afloat." The detail is on page 19. And beside that, we have the picture of world's richest man. Jeff Bezos agrees to $35 billion divorce. The details is on page 36. And then we go to page 12. Nigerian Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs accuses Christian Association of Nigeria of hypocrisy, hatred for Muslims, charges Christian body to register as political party. All right, and finally on page 10, sugar worsened mood makes people less alert. And that is coming from experts. You can grab a copy of the New Telegraph so as to get the details. Very, very important. All right, thank you. We will pause here for a short break, and when we return, sports is next. Please stay tuned.
Did you know Jesus said, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost"? Did you know ACNN reaches out to all African, European, and Asian countries? Did you know ACNN produces programs that provides Bible-based solutions to your everyday need? Would you consider partnering with us in order to help us reach out to more souls? Then, become a part of ACNNTV Kingdom Investment Partnership. You can be a monthly or a yearly partner. To subscribe, make your partnership payment into this Zenith Bank account. Account name, Brother Communications Limited. Account number 1013267532. For more details and confirmation of your AKIP subscription, please call +234 703 2656544. You can also reach us via email. Together, we can reach the world with the undiluted Word of God.
It is still the newspaper review. In case you're just joining us, let's get into the world of sports.
All right, thank you. From the Daily Trust Sports, we go to page 45, 46, and 47. Starting with page 45, and it says, Mandzukic extend Juventus contract to 2021. Then Onyekuru named fastest player in Turkish top flight. Super Eagles climb 4 places in FIFA rankings. Onuachu knocks on Eagles AFCON roster door with 2 goals. And finally, on this page, ahead France 2019, Falcons get additional backroom staff. We now go to page 46, and it says, Ndidi named in Premier League Team of the Month for March. Struggling Wiki held by Lobby in rescheduled fixtures. We go down a little bit. Organizers ready for 21st Nestle Milo Basketball Championships. Zimbabwe demand pre-Cup of Nations friendly with Nigeria. Dembele back to training ahead of Manchester United clash. And finally, on this page, 300 children to celebrate International Day of Sports. And then we'll go to page 47, and it says, Zidane backs players amidst difficult season. UEFA dismisses weekend Champions League ties claims. Right. Tottenham post-World record 113 million euro profit. Michael Johnson spreads message of hope to stroke survivors. And finally, Scott eyes Wolves as next step up. And that will be all from the Daily Trust Sports.
Okay, we have the Daily Sun Sports on page 45. Latest FIFA ranking. Super Eagles now 3rd best in Africa. Move up to 42nd in the world. An AFCON 29 squad. Bewarang makes case for Mikel. And Nigerian Breweries PLC hails NFF for honoring 1994 Super Eagles at Night of Stars. And League Management Company directors give DICO tenure elongation. And finally, on this page, 68 teams set for regional conferences. That is all for this paper.
All right, thank you. And from the Vanguard Sports, page 44 on 45. From page 44, Chukweze's release clause set at 25.4 billion naira. Turns jewel of Villarreal. Wow, 25.4 billion naira for an individual.
It's a big money.
Really, 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 really. All right, thank you. Super Eagles move 4 steps up on world ranking. I think that Super Eagle is progressing. They're doing well. Gradually, they're climbing. I want to see them in top position in Africa.
We hope so.
All right, thank you. Mikel laments Boro goal drought. Eagles player formed in La Liga excite Adepoju. And then we'll go down a little bit. Osaze regrets missing 2013 AFCON. Bodo coach plans to copy Roa's tactics for Kalu. That will be all on page 44. We'll go to page 45. Friday Sports, and it says Manchester United ready to offload 6 stars, including Sanchez. All right, Barcelona plan 250 million euro clear out with Coutinho, Utiti, Rakitic under threat. Okay, EPL clubs spend 260 million euro on agents. Wow. Title rest. Atletico to fight Barca until the end. And finally, Mourinho. Why Porto can shock Liverpool in Champions League quarter-final clash. And that will be all from the Vanguard Sports.
Okay, I have the Daily Independent Sports. Roa admits goalkeeping problem in Super Eagles. And Nigeria up 4 spots in FIFA rankings. NFF beefs of Falcons bench ahead Women's World Cup. And finally on this page, OPTA names Onyekuru fastest player in Turkish league. And coming to the next page, page 45, IGC lady captain prioritizes youth development. Releases first Abeokuta Ladies Open. And 2019 Open, YR&A provided extra ticket. And the next page, page 46, Liverpool set to return top of the table again. Liverpool set to return top of the table again. And Spurs make world record 113 million euro profits. Barcelona's Dembele resumes training. And finally on this paper, United to sack 5 in summer.
All right. Lastly, on the sports stories, we take the New Telegraph Sport, and it's leading with real lack motivation. And that is coming from their coach. I guess the reason for the lack of motivation is the fact that this same crop of players have won Champions League back to back to back. And Champions League happens to be the most superior of all the league being played in Europe. And if you have won all of that, sometimes it's like, what are you looking for again? I guess
we've gotten what we want,
exactly.
So what next?
So I guess this may be responsible. Possibly some of the players there may need to go so that others who are hungry
for that
trophy can come and fight again. Exactly. All right. And then we continue just down there. I regret missing 2013 AFCON that is coming. AFCON triumph that is coming from Odewingi. Right, and down there it says AFCON 2019. Let's go down a little. AFCON 2019. Eagles must show belief. All right, that is coming from Ajibade Olusosen. All right, and on page 38, Igali urges Eagles not to relent despite moving up on FIFA ranking. I think that is a good advice. The fact that you're progressing should not make you relent. Rather, they should work hard
to get to the top.
Exactly. That will be all from this page, and we'll go to page 39. It says, Soldier draws up 4-man transfer wish list for Manchester United. Real Madrid denied Rabiot interest. PSG ready to meet the Gears 350 million, I beg your pardon, 350,000 euro a week wage demand. Madu thumbs up Rangers tenacity in Katsina United draw. And finally, sports stories for the day. Real Madrid unveiled 225 million euro Santiago Bernabeu. 525 million euro Santiago Bernabeu reform.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So before we call it a wrap on the show today, on page 14 of Daily Sun, we have the description of Nigerian situation in this picture. The different types of certificates. The first one is that of birth certificate, which describes in Nigeria its certificate of uncertainty. The second is NYSC discharge certificate, described certificate of joblessness.
Wow.
And the third is the marriage certificate, which describes the certificate of life imprisonment. Okay. And lastly here is the INEC certificate of returns, which describes certificate of cob and chop.
Well. I think that this is the true description. but that is not
typical
how
Nigeria.
Yes,
Okay.
but that is not how it's supposed to be. It should be that the moment you have your discharge certificate, you should be thinking about getting a job and earning a living, and marriage should be about
it says
happiness.
Life imprisonment.
But it's not a life imprisonment, really.
And that of our politicians. Come and chop.
Politicians come and shop. It's like that is the true situation in Nigeria, but it shouldn't be. I think that we should begin to reduce the emolument of the politicians to make it less attractive, to see if the crop of politicians we have will still want to be in politics.
God help us.
Thank you. Yeah. This is where we call it a wrap for today's edition. Thank you very much for watching.
Let's do this again next week. Have a lovely weekend. Until then, keep soaring high. Stay blessed. Bye.
Bye.